Are you tired of hustle culture and not getting the results you want? Today, I'm going to be talking about why hustle culture is killing your business and what you can do to change that. And I'm also going to be getting into, how I started content creation, what content creation is, dive into a little bit of strategy. And if anyone joins the live stream, I'll answer some questions live and we can get into it. All right. So, I'm outside right now. I'm in my backyard and I'm recording. There might be a little wind, so bear with me. Um, I am a father, so my kids were running around inside. They was playing and stuff like that, making too much noise. But I wanted to get on and do the live stream, so here I am. I hope the quality is somewhat good because it is a little windy, but um, yeah. So content creation. What is content creation? So 2025 content creation really focuses on how you can create content around a specific message. And before we go any further, I do want to say that content creation and growing on social media are two very different skills. All right, creating content is different than how many followers you have on social media. So don't think because, oh, I'm starting out with 0 followers that means my content is trash, or that it shouldn't be a deterrent, because they're two different skills. The largest companies in the world, if you go look at some of their social media pages, they are not huge. Some of the largest companies, they do not have huge social media followings. You would think with all the money and the resources they would have more followers, but they don't. They're two very different skills. And I've worked for organizations that do, 100+ million a year, and their social media following is not huge, but they do leverage social media to create content. And so I wanted to get that out the way first. And another reason is because I have a social media account that I just created for uh, Fitz The Creator, my YouTube channel, and what I have going on with this business. And a lot of people will look at me and say, well, I think like I have less than 50 followers right now. They'll say, well, what do you know about content creation? You don't have a bunch of followers. I've done digital marketing for 7+ years. I've done it for 7+ years. I just started the channel. And here's another thing. Followers are not what they used to be, because the algorithm on social media has changed. And in a future video, I'll show you my analytics, and you'll be able to see that my views are much higher and my reach is much higher than the less than 50 followers I have, because the algorithm now gives you content based on what you're liking and most likely to engage with, even if you don't follow that person. I bet you a large portion of your feed is content from people that you do not follow. You get content all day long from people you do not follow. And many people, they don't follow these accounts no more like they used to. Like, following is kind of lame now in 2025. Following somebody is kind of lame, um, because you can just like their content and comment on their content, and you're gonna get their content even if you don't follow them. Same thing on YouTube. You're gonna get content recommended to you based on what you like, not necessarily who you're following. And this is a big game changer, because a lot of people think the people with the large followings that they're making all this money and doing all this stuff. But the truth of the matter is if you don't know how to monetize your audience, and your audience is now people who don't follow you, it's people that like your content, engage with your content. If you don't know how to monetize that, you could have 100,000, 500,000 followers, but you're not really going to go anywhere. All right. So let me get into my notes. And we are going to have a little bit of fun, hopefully learn some stuff. All right. So when it comes to hustle culture, I want to first start off by talking about what is hustle culture to me. What is hustle culture? So hustle culture is a culture that tells you all you have to do is wake up, grind, go after the bag, and everything's going to fall into place. I want to tell you that's a complete lie. Hustle culture is a complete lie. And the reason hustle culture is a complete lie is because hustling has Hustling is one aspect of growing a business and success, but the other aspect of it is strategy. Other aspect is strategy. Imagine that you wanted to go to the ocean. You wanted to drive to the ocean and you hustled because you got in the car and you hustled, you packed up the car, you did everything, and then you just started driving. You ain't have no GPS, you ain't look at the gas, you ain't look if you had the money to go, you just started driving. And you driving and driving and driving and driving and driving, making U-turns left, right, and you driving for 3 days and you like, why am I not at the ocean yet? That can become frustrating. And then you stop driving at a certain point because you're not at the ocean. This is what happens in entrepreneurship. We have a business idea. We want to start making content. We're going to be an influencer. We're going to build this huge audience. And then we just go. Go. Post. Like, comment. Boom, boom, boom. And then you look up and you're not getting the results you want. You're not getting clients. You're not getting the views that you think you should be getting. You're not where you want to be. You're still working at that job. You said that you were only creating content to quit, right? And then you give up. And then you go back to your job and you have no hope. You have no way out, because understand that for many entrepreneurs, content creation is their way out of the 9-to-5 hood. Right? You know how people from the hood be like, I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna buy my mama. This is what the 9-to-5 lifestyle is starting to become. 9-to-5 lifestyle is starting to become the hood. Let's just keep it real. People look at it as escaping the hood. If you are a content creator or an entrepreneur, that is the new escaping the hood. Right? That's the new drug dealing for escaping the hood, is content creation, being an entrepreneur. So what I found is that people are too over invested in the hustle culture. They're focused on the wrong things. And we've been told a lie that all you have to do is work hard, all you have to do is hustle a little harder, and it's all going to fall into place. That's not true. Okay? Hustle culture is simply putting your head down and thinking that your work is going to pay off just because you're working. Not true. You're essentially running in place when you do that. That is a running in place strategy. And then when you look up and you didn't win the race because you weren't moving forward, you're confused. Like, nah, I was running 26 miles an hour in place. Yeah, I mean, that's what that looks like. And the reason that's like this is because social media glorifies nonstop work. It really does. Social media glorifies nonstop work. You see these gurus get online and say, if you're 20 years old, you're 25 years old, you should not be concerned with work-life balance. You should not be concerned with anything besides waking up and grinding. Right? This is what we're told. You should not be concerned with anything but waking up and grinding. Let me see, it's the mic. Drop a 1 in the chat if the mic is working. Drop a 1 in the chat if the mic is working. I think the mic is working. Okay. Drop a 1 in the chat if the mic is working. I can't tell because it's, let me see. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah, the mic is working. But yeah, so you have online gurus telling you that everything is about hustle. Everything is about making sure that you're getting up, getting to the bag. Don't get your sleep. If you're sleeping and you're this age, that's bad. Don't try to have work-life balance. This is a recipe for disaster, in my opinion, because I think what you find is that, and I've always lived by this philosophy, if you have to do something to get your foot in the door, imagine what you're going to have to do to keep your foot in the door. And we're talking about longevity. Now, I understand that in the beginning, you're going to have to work more hours. You're going to have to put in a lot of work, and you're going to have to grind. No question about it. But you have to grind with a purpose and with a strategy. It's not just about grinding. And I think hustle culture makes it so much about grinding that we never step back and think about strategy. we never step back and think about purpose. Why am I going to do this? Asking the deeper questions. And that's what I'm here to do. That's what I'm here to do. I'm here to talk about the hidden costs. I'm here to talk about the hidden costs. And so, I want to talk about what hustle culture cost me personally, right? What hustle culture costs behind the scenes. So me personally, with hustle culture, it cost me, I want to say 4 years of earning potential, 4 years of my life. And here's what I mean. So I was in college going for my master's degree, and I ran into somebody who had going in college, working for my master's degree, came across somebody who had a real estate license and was in the real estate industry doing well for themselves. Right. And so I was like, you know what? I want to do that. I want to make all this money, and I have the hustle, I have the grind to do it. And so I jumped in feet first, went and got my real estate license while I was in college, getting my master's degree, started just hustling. I'm gonna go door knock. I'm gonna go pass out business cards. I'm gonna go on social media. I'm gonna go pay for Zillow leads. I'm just hustling, right? I'm gonna read all these books, just going. But I wasn't strategic. And I spent 3 or 4 years doing that. And eventually I had to stop practicing in the real estate industry because I was so burnt out. I wasn't making the type of money that I wanted to make. And I had to go get a W-2 job. And the reason why is because I would earn money. I would get like a $10,000 check. Then I would just keep hustling. Then I would get another client. Hustle. But I wasn't strategic enough to invest my time where I needed to invest my time. And I wasn't thinking long term about it. I was just thinking, I'm going to work as hard as possible. And I focused so much on that. And people would see me, oh, you're always busy. You're always doing something. And I felt good about that. But then you burn out. And then what happens when you burn out is you stop showing up. And that's the worst thing you can do, is stop showing up. And so that's my goal is like, okay, when it comes to content creation, how can I help you consistently show up without burning out, so that you don't just have a 30-day sprint and then after that you want to quit and you're not making content anymore? How can we make this about longevity? Because everyone looks good at the beginning of the race, right? Everyone, like if we start a race and everyone just starts sprinting, everyone looking good. But what do people look like halfway through the race? What do they look like at the finish line? And when it comes to content creation, entrepreneurship, the longer you can hold out by doing the right things, because it's not just about holding out, you need to be doing the right things long enough. And that's where I was failing. I was doing some of the right things mediocre because I was doing everything else and burning out. How do you do the right things long enough for it to pay off? And that's what I mean by not burning out. How do you do the right things long enough to be able to stick with it so that you reap the benefits? So the reason, and I want to talk about why hustle culture leads to disappearing online. One of the main reasons, we got Premier Demi in the building. Premier Demi says, hi. What up, Premier Demi? Appreciate you for tuning in. Right now, I'm about to get into why hustle culture leads to disappearing online. Like I was saying before, hustle culture makes you disappear online because you give this great effort. You go, you sprint. And then when you look at your results and you don't have the clients you think you should have, you quit because it's like, if I worked this hard and didn't get anything, why should I continue? You're burnt out. It's not sustainable. And the key to understand is that when you're first showing up online, nobody knows who you are. They don't know what you stand for. You haven't given them any time to know you. But you burn out before they get to know you. So then you stop showing up online. You disappear. And so, for example, many people will start saying, well, I need to post every day. I need to post on social media every day or no one's going to know me. No, I would much rather you post 1 or 2 times a week, 3 times a week, than try to do it every single day, get burned out, and then week 2, you quit, right? Do something that's manageable for you right now. 1, 2 posts a week, high quality, be able to sustain that, and then build yourself up to the 3 posts, the 4 posts, the 5 posts. Because with content creation, it's ultimately just about getting started. It's just about getting started. Like, I have so many people that will talk to me about content creation that I see online, where it's like, what should I post? What should I post? What should I do? What if I don't get any likes? You're probably not gonna get any likes. Your first videos, you're probably not gonna get any likes. You're gonna get crappy views. One person may like it, your mom may share it. That's it. But you're not posting in the beginning to go viral. You're not posting in the beginning so that you can make $1 million off that post. You're posting to start the foundation. Premier Demi said, do you advise buying a YouTube channel? Honestly, I think it's a smart strategy if you do it correctly. I think it's a smart strategy if you do it correctly, because here's the thing. If it's a personal brand that you're talking about buying, that could be more risky, because the people on that channel are showing up for the person. And this is why personal brands you have to be careful with, because if you want to exit out of that, it can be difficult. It can be difficult. So understand that your online presence is an asset. Your online presence is an asset. So if you're trying to sell or you're trying to buy a YouTube channel, you have to be very strategic about it. I wouldn't go buy somebody's personal brand without them still being involved in it. Now, if they're still involved in it, then that's one thing. But I think it would depend on why you're trying to buy a YouTube channel. And I think what I'm hearing is like, okay, a YouTube channel may have 5,000, 10,000 subscribers. Maybe you're getting past the mark of being monetized, and you don't have to build yourself up to be monetized, and you can just start creating content. Maybe it can work, but if it's a personal brand, like I said, it's going to be very confusing for them if a new face just shows up and then you start talking and stuff. Like, they're like, who is this? Like, I watch basketball. If I'm looking and I'm trying to go watch Steph Curry play and he's a star player of the team, and then some random dude comes out and they're like, nah, this is the star player. I'm like, this ain't why I came. So I would say, if it's a personal brand YouTube channel, be very careful with buying it. If you're buying a business that has a YouTube channel asset, and you're not the star player, and you can just keep creating content based on that, then I would say that's a great idea. Like, for example, if you're buying a business that's centered around digital marketing, but let's say that the channel doesn't really have a face to it. The channel is just someone narrating or something like that, but it's not a personal brand, and you want to push content in digital marketing, or you want to push whatever content they're pushing, I think it could be a great idea. You just have to make sure. I would say, look at the analytics of that channel. Whoever you're thinking about buying, really study them and see if the content that you would be pushing on that channel is good. Sometimes, a channel just may not be posting enough, or their production may not be high quality, and you can come in and increase the production of the quality and stuff like, or the quality of the production, and monetize like that. So I hope that answers your question. But if you're trying to build a personal brand, I think the only way you can do it is to roll your sleeves up, do the hard work up front of connecting with an audience, and letting people decide if your content is worth consuming. Premier Demi says, because I know many people who bought many monetized YouTube channels and post shorts and get paid more money of at least 1K a month. By the way, do you do trading? No trading. I do not do trading. I teach people how to create content and use content systems to build their brand online. I think what you're talking about is something completely different than what I do and what I teach people to do. I have heard of the faceless YouTube channels where you can just get on and post other people's content and post those shorts, and you can make money off of that. I think one of the things that I would say with that is, and I've tried it before, I've repurposed other people's content and posted it on other channels to watch. It can be difficult getting some of that material monetized depending on what you're posting. If you're repurposing other people's content and it's getting views, those people can actually submit a claim to YouTube to where they get the money from that ad revenue instead of you. Also, you risk getting strikes and getting your channel shut down. Uh, yeah, I would have to know more about the post that they were posting and things like that. But there's a lot of ways to make money on YouTube. But what I focus on is people that want to grow a personal brand, or a brand for their personal business, not just trying to buy a YouTube channel and then posting the shorts and making money that way. But all right, so great question, great question. So I'm going to talk about now what you actually need. What you actually need, because we have too many people that are, centered around motivation instead of strategy. Centered around motivation instead of strategy. And I'm going to tell you the difference. Motivation is something that makes you feel good. Motivation is something that can get you going. Strategy keeps you going. Strategy is, okay, I'm going to post 3 times a week. I'm going to post this type of content. Here's who I'm posting to. Here's my audience. Strategy is thinking about the details of what you need to do to get to your goals. It's not a plan. It's a plan of attack. Here's how I'm going to attack growing my brand. Here's how I'm going to attack connecting with my audience. So many people rely on motivation. They want to get up, they want to watch the Eric Thomas videos, and they want to feel good. And then once they feel good, then they'll post. Once they feel good, then they'll do what they're supposed to do. Then they'll engage with people online. Then they'll write down, right? People are waiting for motivation to do the work. But what you should be doing is creating a strategy and letting that strategy guide the work. I don't always feel like getting up making content. I don't feel like, waking up in the morning and being like, oh, I got to go shoot some videos. Nah, I don't feel like posting a video and then it only gets 5 views. But I do it anyways because I'm following a strategy. I'm following a strategy that says post this many times a week. Here's how you do your hooks. Here's what you do with your long form content. So for example, I have a strategy when it comes to my long form videos. This is a live video, right? I understand that my subscriber count is low, so there's probably not going to be a lot of people tuning in, but it's still a win for me. Why? Because once this live stream's over, it's going to post to my page, so then people can watch it on replay and still go watch it. Additionally, I can take the best parts of this live stream, chop it up, turn it into short form content, and then post it on social media, post it on YouTube, and get views like that. So this video that may get 10 views while it's live can turn into thousands of views once I do what I do on the back end. That's strategy. That's thinking strategically. That's not just putting my head down grinding. That's not just me hustling. That's me being strategic and saying, I'm going to create a live video and then I'm going to take the best parts of it and push it out on social media and turn a live video that had low views into multiple videos where one of them could get a lot of views, or many of them, who knows? So that's the difference between strategy. That's the difference between strategy. Additionally, I want to talk about how I started showing up consistently online. How I was able to start showing up consistently online. The way that I did it was I just started creating content. And understand, when I say create content, I'm not talking about it has to be fully edited. I'm saying I literally would take my camera out and just start talking. Take my camera out, just start talking, video myself and my family, video me doing stuff. Like, for example, right now, I'm gonna make a piece of content right now live with y'all on my phone. All right, let me clean my camera off. Let me show y'all what I mean by this, right? So I have my camera out, right? Boom. Let me get the settings on the camera right. I got my camera out. So I'm going to create I'm going to create a video of me making a video showing y'all how easy content creation is at a certain point. All right, y'all. So I'm literally live on my YouTube channel showing people how easy it is to create some content. So I'm live showing y'all what I do. So when you want to start creating content, it's really just about turning your camera on and getting to the content. Stop waiting around, stop beating around the bush, just start creating content. All right? And once you start creating content, you'll see what works, what doesn't, and you'll be able to optimize and move forward. Just turn your camera on, hit the record button and go. Let's do it. All right. So there it is. So I'm going to take that video later on and I'm going to post it. And then that video is going to get views. And that's how easy content creation could be. Here's the key though. You actually have to know what you're talking about. You have to have a skill set. If you're an entrepreneur and you want to grow a brand. Now, if you just want to be a content creator and an influencer and you'll just sell whatever and you'll get a brand deal, that's a different strategy. But I'm talking about entrepreneurs who are selling something and using content creation as an avenue to get there. So for example, what I'm selling, I sell digital products and I sell coaching services that help entrepreneurs show up online and not burn out. That's what I do. So yes, I'm a content creator, but I'm also a businessman. I'm an entrepreneur. And so I have a service, I have a product, and the content helps push people to that while also adding value. And so by me getting on live, just showing how easy it is, that's content that can make me money and also add value to someone else. And once you get to a certain point in your journey, it's going to be that easy for you. All right, so let's talk about some actionable steps. I've kind of gotten into. So we have Premier Demi said, have you grown monetized YouTube channel and what is the channel? So at this point, no. I've not grown a personal monetized YouTube channel. I have been creating content on YouTube and on Instagram for years, mainly for a hobby, but in real life outside of YouTube, I'm a digital marketer. I've been in digital marketing for 7+ years. I've worked doing market research, managing social media channels for companies, and also managing SEO and doing the Google ads. So that's mainly what I've been focused on, is my career and growing from that perspective. Why I started this channel was because people would ask me about content creation, because I would make skits and I would make videos and stuff and just post the content without a strategy. I would just post it just to goof around and blah, blah, blah. So then it'd be like, okay, I'm not necessarily growing, but I know how to create content. And that's why I focus on creating content and not necessarily growing a social media page, because those are two very different skills. They're two very different skills. And so one of the things that people get caught up with is, how can I monetize? How can I monetize? How can I monetize? That's very important. But they typically mean monetizing from the perspective of, did I hit the subscriber count and did I hit the watch hours on you? They're monetizing in terms of the platform specifics on getting the money. When I'm talking about monetizing, connecting with your audience, I'm coming at it from a strategic perspective and coming at it from a, how do you create content so that you can even monetize? There's too many people. There's already enough gurus out here that can tell you how to grow a social media page. I can get into that and I can tell you the specifics and what's worked for my clients and things like that. But at this point, I'm focused on the strategy and the content creation, because I don't have a large YouTube channel. I don't have a large Instagram channel right now. I have the technical skills to do it. And at a certain point, it's going to be there. And once it gets there, then I'll start teaching that. And then I'll start pushing that content. But right now, it's not going to feel authentic to the people watching, and it's not going to feel authentic to me, even though I know I can do it, even though I have the strategy in place that's going to get me there. When people hear me talk about it and then they go and they see, well, he just started his YouTube channel or his Instagram, he only has X amount of followers and subscribers, it's not authentic, he's fake, that takes away from the brand. So that's why I focus more on growing your brand from a strategic perspective, and I lean on my skill set that I've been using to make money in a career for 7+ years, instead of just everybody else that focuses on how can you get this quick hack to grow your social media page. It's not just about growing your social media page, because what we understand now is that people are being shown your content even if they don't follow you at a much higher rate. And so now it's about connecting with your audience and just being able to show up and create content, which is a very different skill than growing your social media page. And like I said earlier in the stream, there are billion-dollar companies who have less than 500 subscribers on YouTube, who have less than 500 followers on Instagram. Like there are high school students that have more followers than some of the largest organizations in the world. But those companies still operate in their lane and know what they're doing. And so, yeah, great question. Great question. I always want to be authentic and I always want to be real. Could I make videos and say all the right things and hustle people out of money and stuff like that by just getting on here and giving you some strategy and saying, grow your social media page? Yeah, sure. But I want to take a more interesting approach and not just talk about the hypotheticals of, what's going to grow your page and try to guarantee you something, but how can we create a system for you to create content, and whatever your page does, right? Whatever your YouTube page does, whatever your Instagram page does, it does. I'm more interested in how do we create the content that's going to connect with your audience? How do we get you creating content? That's it. Because without the content, your page isn't going to grow regardless. That's my focus. And then one day, maybe I'll get into how you can grow your page and all of those hacks and stuff like that. All right. So actionable steps. First, you want to pick what's called an evergreen topic. You want to pick 3 evergreen topics that you can pretty much get woken up out of your sleep and talk about. And this is what I was saying earlier. You need to know what you're talking about. So for me, I've been creating content for over 10 years. I haven't been trying to monetize my social media pages for over 10 years, but I have been creating content. And I have been working in digital marketing and managing social media pages that I have grown and that do business. So the reason you want evergreen content is because so many people get caught up in the trendy content, and the trendy content is here today, gone tomorrow. You want evergreen content because evergreen content is simply content that will be relevant way into the future. So for example, evergreen content would be, how do you get a strong mindset? How to get a strong mind, how to have a strong mindset. That's evergreen content. Content that's not evergreen, that's just trendy, might be, how do you there's a new challenge going on where you post you meditating or something like that. Here today, gone tomorrow, right? These are like, think politics. Politics, you hear a news story and then it's not relevant in a year. It's not relevant next week. So you have to keep on creating the content and keep on creating it, and nobody's really going to go back and watch your videos. So evergreen content makes it to where you can post content and get residual views. You can get views on that video a year later. People are going to still be looking up that content a year later, 2 years later. And this will 10x your productivity, because when you focus on evergreen content, yes, you want to do trendy stuff, but when you focus on evergreen content, you're able to schedule that content out. So I can make a evergreen video right now and schedule it to release in 6 months and know that it's going to be relevant in 6 months. When you're constantly chasing the trends, which I've done, when you're constantly chasing them, you have to be on top of it. And that video, once that trend is done and over with, it's not going to get any more views. No one's going to care about it. And so you have to keep up and keep up and keep up and keep up. When you get to a place where you're creating evergreen content, you can schedule your content out and it's still going to be relevant, and your people are able to go back and watch that content and it still feel relevant. This is going to help you with productivity. It's also going to put you in a place to where you're growing a business where eventually the income can be passive and you can step away from the content because your videos are still generating leads. Your videos are still driving traffic. Your videos are still doing what they need to do and adding value, right? When you're constantly chasing the trends, it's difficult. And here's another key point. When you create evergreen content and you're able to schedule content out, then you have time to focus on the trends. Like if I create evergreen content and schedule it out for 3 months and know that there's going to be a video released every Monday for the next 3 months, I'm not worried about, can I put out this fire and create a video on the spot? If a new trend comes up and I want to follow it and I want to engage with it, then I can do that because I know I have content that's being released. And if I don't get to the trend, I still got the content. I don't have to keep rushing to put out this fire and create a video this day. I can schedule my content out. So creating evergreen content is a key strategy. If you want to work in this industry, like if you want to do content creation without burning out. Next, batching your content. So batching your content is just creating a large quantity of content in a session or two or whatever, sitting down for a session and then scheduling that content out. So create, like right now, if I take an hour or two today to create some content, now I have 2 hours worth of content. I go in, I edit it, and then I post it out. I'm able to get that content created, and then I don't have to create content every single day. And I don't have to feel like I'm putting out a fire all the time, right? So these are actionable steps that you can take. These are actionable steps that you can take. So I want to recap. I'm not going to hold you all day. I want to recap. Hustle culture does not equal growth. Hustle culture does not equal growth. Just because you're hustling doesn't mean that you're growing. Right? I was in college. I got a bachelor's degree in psychology, a master's degree in sociology. I thought that I was hustling hard. I put in all those years. And then when I graduated, I didn't have the type of money I thought I would have. I was hustling, but I didn't have those financial goals in place when I started the degree to even be able to understand if this is the right path for me. Once I had my financial goals in place and I was like, oh, this ain't finna do it, bro. This ain't finna do it. Then I was able to pivot and get into marketing and digital marketing, where the pay is a little higher and the skills are more transferable and you could build brands around it, et cetera, et cetera. So hustle does not equal growth. Hustle plus strategy is what's going to give you that growth. And when it comes to creating content, the worst thing you can do is create content without a strategy, right? So I really hope this helps. If you got any value from this video, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe. If there's any topics you want me to cover, just let me know on my community page. You can also hit me up on Instagram at Fitz The Creator. At Fitz The Creator on Instagram, DM me. Let me know if there's any topics you want me to cover. Appreciate y'all, and I'll see y'all next time. And also, I do have a content confidence workbook that's going to drop. So be on the lookout for that. And if you want a one-on-one coaching session with me, make sure you look in the description. You can book that. If you want a one-on-one coaching session with me, I can do a social media audit for you, go over what I think a good strategy would be for your social media content, what type of content to post, how to engage with your audience, all of that stuff. And we can get you on the path to creating an online brand without burning out and creating something that's sustainable, that's really going to connect with your audience. That information is in the description. Appreciate y'all, and I'll see y'all next video.